And we'll get to previewing some of the warm-up games that are upcoming this weekend. And we're going to start with what is a very, very interesting game for a myriad of different reasons, but Japan versus South Africa in Japan. Like, South Africa are already in Japan.
Yep.
They're doing things right. They're a couple of weeks out, they're getting conditioned already.
I was reading both Ches and Kobe and Dwayne Vermeulen said they have found it somewhat tough to acclimatise to the conditions.
I'm sure it is.
It's quite humid over there at the moment. I was reading, it's like there's actually thunderstorms in the air right now, and it's about 27 degrees and humid and thundery and weird.
That's bad news for the Irish.
Bad news for the Northern Hemisphere in general. Yeah. The South Africans are used to the humidity, maybe not so much in Africa, but definitely just hot conditions in general, and shortness of breath that comes from altitude
training as well.
So I suspect the South Africans will be better placed than most to cope.
Well, certainly with the fact that their conditioning starts from already last week. It's going to be at 11:15 a.m. Irish time.
This Friday.
That's this Friday. Yeah.
Yes.
Kumagaya Rugby Stadium in Japan, and it's going to be reffed by Nick Berry. And just a cool little note here. Apparently, 2,000 Japanese fans turned up for the first Springbok training session on Japanese soil. They're getting excited,
bulling for this World Cup. Like, however excited we are, I suspect the Japanese rugby following public are extremely
buzzing, I dare say.
Yeah.
And a few, obviously the Japanese league as well, that's been gaining momentum and stars and money for the last however many years as well. It's all coming to a head in less than a month's time. It's 2 weeks time.
Oh jeez, 7 days from now. Japan themselves, in terms of what they're looking to get out of this game, it is a scary game for them. They do have home advantage. They'll be just looking to up that pace. They do stand deep and get the ball wide quite quickly, so I'd be curious to see if they can get outside that bot blitz.
Outside those wingers and the Lutanyo Am shooter that is there, or if it's Jesse Crew.
It's true, it's
well.
Lutanyo Am. They've named their team. It's their full team. It's the Boks full team. It's Faf and Pollard and the boys.
That's probably right. Like, the Boks are addressing a bit of hurt, obviously, from 4 years ago. There are demons to exercise and put to bed. It's just a curiosity and kind of a quirk of scheduling that these two teams have only met once, and it was that day 4 years ago.
What Rassie was saying in his press conference was the last time we played, they ended up making a movie about it. We got to make sure there isn't a sequel.
He's probably right.
Or Revenge of the Sith could be the sequel, I guess.
Could be it. This is definitely more Empire Strikes Back is what he's looking for. They want to scrub that out. They can do without having a losing record against Japan, the hosts, just for all kinds of...
Totally. It would be momentum sucking.
It would.
It's their last game before they play the All Blacks.
This is true too, and it's a good hit out of that, because like you say, Japan want to stand a bit deeper, go a bit wider, be a bit faster. So it'll be an interesting test for the Springboks. Japan themselves will want to make sure that the ball isn't dying at all. They want to be at their technical best, where they're quick and wide and getting the ball out there.
It'll just be a good test for those Japanese as well, because as impressive as they've been, they haven't played a tier 1 side yet.
No.
And there is a definite gap between tier 1 and tier 2 right now. Not really a fault of the tier 2 teams. It's just that going into this World Cup, I feel like a whole load of the tier 1 teams, almost all of them, are getting it so much better and so much more right than they had been in World Cups past. Usually there's like 1 or 2 tier 1 teams who are just getting it totally wrong, which you're not really seeing right now. Everyone is sort of primed and ready, and the World Cup is so open, so that gap naturally is there between tier 1 and tier 2.
The other side of it, which was a good point that was made on another video that 1014 put out, is that in the last 4 years and all the last few cycles as well, the number of tests played by tier 1 teams versus the tier 2 teams, it's nearly double. It's up around 55-58 mark for tier 1 sides, where it's in the 30s for tier 2 sides.
Where Japan and Fiji are most accomplished in terms of coping with that, because of the way they play the game, and just because they have a load of guys playing pro rugby anyway. So they would be more primed to deal with that than the other sides, but obviously it's a factor. But just coping, like they're going straight into the Lions' Den in terms of their first tier 1 game. They're going to be playing a team that is so physical and so precise and technical at the set piece, as well as being physical. So it's just going to be like, they're a great scrummaging team at tier 2 level. How are they going to cope with the box scrum? How are they going to defend them? Like, that's where I really fear for Japan, is when the Springboks have the ball around the corner. Franco Mostert, Eben Etzebeth, Sia Khaleesi is captaining this week. Peter Steff. and
Vermeulen.
Dwayne Vermeulen. Like, it's just a constant
big
round
men.
the corner of big men
Yeah.
running at you.
Yeah.
And certainly Japan would want to stand up to it, but they also don't want to get broken.
This is
So
it.
it's a scary game for Japan.
Like even outside the forwards, Pollard running into Tamura is something that I don't think Japan would like either.
No.
Not
a fan of any of it.
I don't know. They definitely match up at a deficit. But then what's great about Japan is they sometimes when they're able to dictate their tempo, the game kind of ceases to be about that, and it's more about speed and accuracy, which is something that Japan do rival anyone at when they can set that
especially
pace.
as it's the first game in these conditions for the Springboks.
Yep.
Could
be a
very humid
factor.
and hot. If Japan can move it around, they could tire them out, and they could just make them feel not themselves, which is everything that they're going to want. And certainly that opening blitz that they like to do in the first half will be vital if they're to stand up.
To be honest, you'll know exactly how this is going to go if the first 20 minutes are tight at all.
Oh, yeah,
I think
so.
Then the Springboks are absolutely bull rushing them for the rest of the game. But it's if Japan can like you say start like an absolute like a rocket out. They really do. When they have it their way, they set the pace and dictate the tempo and look excellent at very high speeds. Very few breakdowns. They can keep the ball alive. Good attacking kicks, good probing catches, and good tries, because their wingers are devastating. And it'll be like you say, the intrigue is whether that standing deep and shifting wide will actually pay the dividends against what has been a very impressive South African defensive system.
And if they are just too deep to shut down, will the Boks make the adjustment to keep will the wingers keep their discipline and stay wide, and will the Kanyo sort of lead the defence on a bit of a push up and drift as opposed to just a push straight up? It'll be curious to see that. But generally, just a good test for both sides. I think both sides are going to get a good bit of learning from it.
Absolutely.
And, touch wood, no injuries. But outside of that, I think it's going to be a good hit out for both teams.
Absolutely.
And I think the Boks are going to win.
I think the Boks are going to win as well. And Rassie checking off his little lists in advance of the World Cup, and one of them's getting that win back.
Put this to bed.
So yeah, I suspect he probably will.
Yes.
But it would be nice to see Japan be a bit competitive. And it's a good preparation for the I suppose the Ireland test really to come as well, because Ireland kind of play that physical game, and the Springboks play an extreme version of that as well. So it makes a lot of sense for both teams, I think. The arranging of this fixture.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good one too.
Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you want to subscribe, there should be a button up here. Don't forget to give us a like and share with your friends, and please leave comments down below. We love the conversation. Thanks.